Hello, everybody. Welcome. I'd like to say a little more about this move that Trisha Yu calls the Tai Chi twist. um, and one thing that it does is it pumps the lymph. So Tai Chi and Qigong are very good for the immune system. And as you can see, the inguinal crease here where the leg meets the torso, the Chinese call the gua. So we're sitting down and we're folding in on that on both sides. And there are major lymph glands in that area. Now, lymph doesn't have a heart-like organ to circulate it. Lymph circulates through muscle contraction. It's sort of like in the legs, it's got kind of elevators, and when the muscles contract, they move the lymph up, and then it's held, and then it keeps moving up, and it circulates the lymph through the whole body. And as you know, that's what fuels our immune system function. In the same way, we have lymph glands in the armpits, and so when we're turning, we're moving the muscles in the armpits, and we're circulating that lymph in the upper body. So the gua, compression and relaxation of the gua, circulates it from the legs up. And then in the armpits, this is circulating it through the torso. So because of that, we want to, sink down and really sort of fold that crease in. And the more that we fold it, the more it pumps. So, rather than just sort of the standing here and twisting, there's a sinking down, kind of a spiraling, a corkscrewing down that folds that crease, and in effect is driven by the thighs and the hips. So it really does keep the immune system working. Particularly for us, we're much more sedentary than our ancestors were. And then it keeps our flexibility, keeps our body flexible. So that's a part of it too. And the natural thing as we grow older is to kind of lean forward, and the head kind of goes forward, and so taking this vertical, standing or sitting, taking this vertical meditation posture in the back, that keeps the alignment. We're not blocked back here where the neck meets the spine, by bending forward. And a lot of us, if we sit a lot, we get sunk in. And so by standing in this aligned posture, we're keeping the spine open. And we're keeping all the channels open, whether they're veins and arteries or lymph. We're keeping all of that open, as well as all the acupuncture meridians. So the health benefits of this are subtle, but by getting in the habit of doing meditation regularly and of sitting upright and doing some of these simple practices, it has a profound effect over the years um, in keeping us healthy. And that's not to say if we get sick, we're bad practitioners. That is not to say that, because the nature of life on this planet is that we get sick and we get well and we get sick and we get born and we die. And that's just the way it is. Nobody's going to change that. So we don't want to get into sort of blaming ourselves and adding that additional misery to, oh, I must not be a very good practitioner because I got a cold or I got cancer or whatever I got. It's a dangerous world, and there's all kinds of microbes out there that want to live just as much as we do. And one of the kind of magical things about these standing postures is that we can relax and be upright at the same time, that they're not mutually exclusive. So it's not a dichotomy between being tense and being relaxed. It's not. It's that we're relaxed and we're upright, and that in fact by being upright, we enable ourselves to relax because there's no tension, there's no blockages in the body. And relax meaning, the muscles are soft. Also meaning the mind is relaxed because the heart is pumping and the lungs are breathing and the lymph is flowing and the body's doing what it does. We can just kind of relax and just notice that this amazing organism is humming along pretty well on its own. Now, the alertness comes in, the mindfulness comes in. If we're standing, well, maybe we notice, I'm caving in a little bit, which we will. Maybe I'm starting to lean forward a little bit, so we just notice that, and then balance that. So we're relaxing the mind in the sense that we're not engaging in a lot of unnecessary activity, thinking. But our alertness actually becomes more acute. The alertness is not tension, it's just a presence. Okay, let's go ahead and include all the directions. So starting with the east. And then the south. And then the north. Sky. Earth. And within. I just want to take a moment to put this evening's class in a little perspective. And I assume everyone else, was raised in a Judeo-Christian tradition, either actively or passively in this culture, um, and looked at from the Taoist point of view, as far as verticality. So, our Father who art in heaven, the beginning of the Lord's Prayer. So we notice right away, it's the supreme deity is our Father. It's a male. And where is he? Okay, he's up there. Okay, heaven's up there. And then, so naturally, hell is down here. So, from the Taoist perspective, the Judeo-Christian tradition, at least many aspects of it, are what they would call an ascending religion. So, it's very yan, very yan. So yan is male, yan is sky, yan is up. Okay, whereas yin is female, and yin is earth, and yin is down. Okay, so yin is in breath, birth, and yan is out breath, death. So from this perspective, then the spirituality is sort of from here up. And people of the earth, that is non-Christian pagan people, are lesser or evil. Females are lesser or evil. And the earth is to be utilized. Okay? Now, I'm not saying all Christians are this way. I'm talking from the Taoist perspective of verticality. Okay, there are many, many different forms of Christianity, many different practitioners, or Judeo-Christianity, I should say. But in terms of the directionality, okay? And so it's an ascending system. When we die, we ascend, or we descend. And the nature religions, nature spirituality is much more yin. So there'll be matriarchal cultures, matrilineal societies. There'll be earth deities, worshiping of the earth, animals, spirit animals, and a sense of being part of nature, being an expression of nature. And so that's a descending spirituality where we're grounding, okay? And now you know where this is going because you're a Qigong practitioner. So in the Taoism, excuse me, we're including both. We're definitely going up and around, and we're definitely going down. And so the view, the directionality of the spirituality is cyclical. It's yin, earth, yang, heaven, in motion, constantly in motion, changing places, and in a sense, creating the dynamic of life, the energy of life. And then the Tao is the consciousness or the space that sets all of this into motion. So, they never used God or a deity, but I think there are many in the Judeo-Christian tradition who would agree with the Taoist sort of view of the Tao, that which cannot be known or spoken. Okay, so I'm just the reason I'm saying all this is because it's not to denigrate ascending energies um, or descending energies. They're both real. And we definitely do a lot of ascending movements in Qigong, and we do a lot of descending movements. And the reason is to create a dynamic balance. So it's not to say the middle way isn't, well, there's up and down, so it's right here. That's just static. It's to say that this is a constantly moving and changing reality that includes ascending and descending and radiating and compressing, all of these things. And it all unfolds in a vast consciousness, which is unknowable, of which we come from, or which we're part of. So that's, I just wanted to sort of put that in perspective. Um, and if you're raised Christian, you're raised Jewish, if you still practice, if that's useful for you, if God is useful, if Jesus, it's great. We're not rejecting anything. Okay, you want to utilize everything that's useful for your path, for your spiritual path. But there is definitely a spirituality in Qigong and in Taoism that is referred to as a cyclical spirituality. Okay, so you might just keep that in mind, when we're doing some of these movements. So let's start with the backwash, which is what? Descending, right? And then we'll go into tree and spring, which is what? Ascending, right? And we're balancing these, we're harmonizing these different energies. Now, without moving, that is, with standing still, we're inhabiting the rising energies and the falling energies. We're embodying them. Remember, it's the three elements of heaven, earth, human, which is combining. And if you like to play with this, with the in-breath, you can, just in your mind, extend your body so it's very, very large, very high. Out-breath, you can extend it so it goes deep into the ground and just sort of inhabit this extended sense of more than just this body. So, in the backwash, since we're going to go down, we begin by going up and bring our attention right to the crown of the head. And then as we let the head go down, our attention's moving down the spine. So it's definitely going down. Okay, and then let's come up. Now our attention's coming up. And now we're going to use the hands to point our consciousness into the body, moving up, 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 way up, and then pointing up, extending beyond the fingers, way, way, way up into the light of the universe. Okay, and then touching into all that is. Okay, one, and then pointing down again, pointing down, and then bringing that up, 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 refining the chi, the earth chi. Okay, and then back to balance. Okay, and then down again. Coming back up. We're bringing up the energy of the earth, physicality, combining it with this light consciousness, and then that gives rise to the whole manifest world. We're repeating. Okay, before we do our last set, so the Taoists are also believe that we're not only sort of learning this and embodying it and expressing it, but by doing this, we're actually we're participating in this this cyclical motion of reality, and by giving it our attention and our body, we're enhancing it. And that we as humans have the ability to enhance these natural cycles, and by doing so, bring our body and our mind and bring the world into balance, into some kind of more harmony. So that's the another reason for doing this. It's for our own health, for our own benefit, um, and also to give our contribution to balancing the world. Okay, so this is why we pair the waterfall or the bone marrow wash. Why we pair that descending with this ascending? It's to keep that balanced. Now, if we go to tree in autumn, so we're going to sink down, and then this results in uh, the downward, uh, reinforcing, accenting the downward awareness, So we're looking up, and we're touching into that above, and then we're bringing this down through the body. Now, as we do this, as we reach the bottom, and our mind's now down at our feet, we extend our consciousness down as if we're growing roots down into the earth. So this is like a prairie plant with really deep roots, bringing down the carbon dioxide, and then continuing, and then sending that carbon down into the earth. This ends up with much more of a downward thrust, and where tree in spring is more of an upward, which is natural. The sap rises in the spring and it falls in the autumn. Okay, let's do one more. Okay, now let's go ahead and loosen up the neck. Neck and shoulders. Okay, very good. And then just as there's up and down and left and right, there's inside and outside. And many of these movements are balancing inside and outside. Let's do a couple more. Okay, and then rocking the pelvis. And circling the hips. And usually, in order to keep the balance, you'll do one direction and then the other. Don't get obsessive about it, but just okay. And then hands on the piano or on the counter. And as we shift the weight, we're going to sink down. So this is really balancing left and right, isn't it? Usually that's what we think of when we think of balance. If we lose our balance, we tip over. Okay. We haven't done this one for a while. Let's do crane walks the riverbank. So the hand's going to rise, and the other hand's going to go back. With the breath. And then as we're going to shift, so we're going to raise, let's say, raise the left hand, we're going to raise the right foot, and then set it down. Then as the right hand comes up, the left leg. So this is just a slow motion walking. And so it's combining the opposites. So left hand, right leg, right hand, left leg. And of course, this is what we do all the time when we walk. But by doing it slowly and mindfully, we can really feel solid, really just root down into that one foot and feel very solid. Okay, so this is another balance exercise. But it is one of the cranes. It's not a flying crane, but it's a walking crane. And there's breathing cranes. Okay, let's do one more on each side. So all of this really is about balance. And so what they'll say, the medical practitioners will say, well, if there's some kind of blockage or imbalance in the system, then that leads to unwellness. So it's bringing everything into balance. So rising, falling, left, right, inside, outside. Okay, now one of the moves that most embodies this is touching heaven, touching earth. So here we're embracing the heart, or embracing that which is human. Okay, and now as we send one up and one down, and now we're extending. Let's just hold this posture. Extending up, we're actually stretching the shoulder, arm, hand, up and down. And the palms are facing each other on the center line of the body. So they're balanced. And then from here, starting at the heart and looking internally, we can extend our attention up, 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 and through the crown of the head and way, way up, touching the hand and beyond to where it's pointing, and then way, way, way up. So touching heaven. And then we can bring the eyes down to the heart, and then down the inside of the body, down the perineum and the feet, touching the lower hand, extending and down, down, down into the earth. And this is up to you, but it can be roots like a big tree, or it can be just be a laser beam down to the center of the planet. And so by connecting down into the earth with the heavens, the human body is acting sort of as this lightning rod. And it's balancing the energy of non-form, the formless, that is thoughts, emotions, concepts, spirit, balancing that with materiality, heaviness, gravity, density. And we're balancing these two in this body. So the breath is light, the body is heavy. And the knees are heavy, the hands are light. The eyes are light, and the legs, feet are heavy. So we're balancing this in ourselves. This is kind of like we're a magnet, or aligning all the molecules in the body in the same direction, north and south. Okay? And then what happens? So now we bring them back into the human, to the heart and to the body, where they mix. Now, so we're actually holding yin and yang in the hands, in the heart. Okay? And we'll do the left right in a minute. But the next one we're going to do is just switch the hands. Now we're switching the hands. And what was pointing down is now pointing up. And what was pointing up is pointing down. And we do the same. Extend. Okay, so the body gets very, very big, so to speak. Okay, and now bringing together. Okay, and now the human, we express our lives in the world. So now, so we go out, these are our relationships, our connections, embracing all that is. And we can extend our mind from the heart out to the hands, out the hands. And a useful image for some of us is net of Indra. So it's just this vast net of light that connects all beings, and that we are one little node in that net. Okay? And then we bring all that in. So that's outside. We bring that into the inside. Okay, and let's do up and down again. Okay, and bringing that to the heart. And now left and right. Okay, so now if you'd like this to be dynamic, we can just turn the waist. And this is what cloud hands is that we're actually, let's go into that. So this is cloud hands, right? So it's saying it's not just left and right, it's all around. And here again, we're switching the upper and the lower. So bringing all this into balance. And then if this gets very big, then the limitations of the body just expand. Okay, and let's just come back to the heart. And then finish the standing portion by, again, the upper one connects way up, the lower one way down, and both into the body. Okay, very good. Let's go ahead and bring up our stool or chair. And so just the theme of these next just few minutes, this little sitting practice is just balance. And however you want to feel that. Or you can reenact any of the postures or movements that we've done tonight. But balance is everywhere. In breath, out breath, heartbeat, alert, relaxed. There's balance to be found everywhere. And you can also balance stillness and movement, motion if you need to. If you get a little stiff or you need to change your posture a little, go ahead and do whatever adjustments are necessary. Okay, so when you're ready, let's go ahead and move a little bit, loosen up, loosen up anything that's stiff. Okay, so let's go ahead and clap one time. So 1, 2, 3. All right, well, thank you so much for showing up for your practice. And if you would like to slip away quietly, please do that. If you'd like to stay with us for questions and comments, you can do that.